Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Winner Circle Sports Betting Podcast. I'm your host, Sean Higgs. Little NFL today with Matt Fargo and Doug Upstone here. Early morning, getting it ready for Sunday. We're going to look at three NFL football games today. But before we get to that, hit the like button here on the YouTube channel. Subscribe. Notification bells on so you know when the free pick videos come up. When the live shows come up. We do a Football Friday. Me, Marc Lawrence, Victor King. I do a Monday Night Live at 7 o'clock for Monday Night Football. Give out some player props. We do that. You see all the free pick videos with these two fine gentlemen, me, Paul Bovey, Chip Chirimbus, Jim Feist, Brian Biller. We got you covered here. A lot of free pick videos. So again, like, subscribe, notification bells on. But this is the free pick video. Premium stuff at gamblersWORLD.net. Head over to gamblersWORLD.net. That's our sponsor. That's where we get all of our premium plays. NFL, college football, NBA, college hoops, hockey, whatever you like. Whatever your little heart desires is at gamblersworld.net. Leaderboards, picks, boom. College basketball right now, 7-day special, $99. That's like 14-something dollars a day. Can't beat that. It's in full swing. There's games all the time. We got you covered. 3 738 packages, all guaranteed. We show you a profit or we credit you back and you go at it again. Use the leaderboard. See who's hot for the last 7 days, the last 30 days, the last 2 days, however you want to work it. Sport-wise, it's all right there. It's as Willy Wonka said, it's black and white, clear as crystal, right? You know, we're not drinking the fizzy lifty drinks. We got to go clean the fan, but the plays are on the board. Doug Upstone, my guy, good to see you this week. How's the game's been treating you?
You mentioned right before, it's been in hockey in particular, it has been an excellent run. Okay. And so been red hot, hitting over 75% of my most recent plays. So it's been an excellent run there. College basketball has gotten off to a very good start. So really happy to report that. Now I know you're really good at college basketball, Sean, in the early part of the season. I typically am not. And I'm not saying I'm going to do as well as I've started, but it just, you got a little different twist on it. I know you give out a lot of games and stuff like that. So that works for you. I'm very selective, okay, in terms of what I do with those, with picks early in the season, but nice to get off to a good start there. And as I mentioned on Monday, it's been a little bit rough for football of late, but I think this week is going to turn that all around. I got a lot of great action coming in college and pro football.
There you go, everybody. And as Doug said, sometimes you start slow, you start hot, you have a up and down week. If that's sports betting, yep. And if you can't handle that kind of nonsense, folks, well, it's definitely not a hobby for you to get into. All right. Well, Matt Fargo probably will tend to agree with that. The highs, the lows, fast, streaks. It's part of the game, Matt. But how you been this week? What do you got going on here the weekend football wise?
Yeah, it's a lot of ebbs and flows in this industry for sure. You'll have 3 amazing days, and then you'll come back to earth for a day. That's what happens. But looking forward to a great football weekend. I went 5-2 in the NFL last week, 6-3 on Saturday in college football. So looking forward to a big weekend for sure. College hoops off to a great start. We talked about it a little bit on Tuesday about the scheduling is just it's insane. There were 112 games on Monday and then 7 on Tuesday. And then there were 6 last night and then, another short card. Like the scheduling is kind of weird. Let's spread it out. Let us be able to watch some of these games, you know what I mean? As opposed to trying to pick through 112 games. Crazy. But yeah, looking forward to college hoops for sure. And also looking forward to another big football weekend.
The college, I mean, listen, we get it. Saturday college football, you're going to have 100 games, and most all the different time. But like the Friday, sometimes there's 11 games, sometimes there's 70, and especially November, because now you got all these little tournaments coming. I like college basketball, and Doug said early, I'm usually out of the gate fast early because there's so many games. I think the books just concentrate more on NFL and college football, and probably to a lesser degree NBA, because people love NBA props. I think they kind of forget about college hoops, and you could come in and steal a little money, so to speak. It's nothing's guaranteed, but I usually start off fast, and I don't lie. Mid-January and February, I'm like, what the hell's going on here? I have a rough. You think it would be better during that time because it's conference play and teams know each other. I don't know what it is. Hey, I can only hope for the best. What are you gonna do? That's how you hope you get it. You're hot. You get a little bit of lead, and then you could ride those 10 and 15 kind of runs. So,
yeah, I mean, college hoops has changed so much in the last decade. Whereas I don't know if we touched on Tuesday or not, but a decade ago, these teams were bringing back 4 and
guys,
starters from the previous season, and I was counting the other day on Monday. There were, I think, 12 of the teams had no starters coming back, and another 17 had 1 coming back.
Yeah.
So it is hard to get a read on these teams early on because you don't know what to expect. All coaching changes, everything just comes into play. And it is difficult. But yeah, like come January, February, man, it's fun. It's fun going through all these games on a Friday night for the next day. It's fun.
It's a long Friday night. I'll tell you that, man. You do a printout. My head, it's like I'm taking aspirin because I got the lights on. I'm like, oh my goodness. My kids are like, you need to get the special glasses for the blue light, and probably do because I know. Like I had it the other day over the weekend. Like it's been bothering me the last couple of days because coming into Monday, I had all those games, and I'm just staring. I'm like, oh my! I'm like rubbing my eyes, doing videos. I'm like, oh, good grief. Anyway, nobody wants to hear us complain.
Carrying glasses.
Yes, I did. Yes,
full vision. You see, all around on that. But either one of you guys watch? I didn't watch the whole thing, but the Gonzaga Baylor the other night. Boy, was Gonzaga impressive.
I didn't watch it. I saw the highlights. I'm like, oh my god, is Baylor this bad, or is Gonzaga that good? Wow.
Yeah. Well, it to me, I mean, if this game's played in March, okay,
that's a little different.
I would think Baylor, all things considered, might be favored, okay, in that situation. But because there's a lot of talent on Baylor, but boy, Gonzaga offensively is really loaded. And the thing that I noticed in particular, there's a little more quickness, okay, with this team. And I think that was really kind of the deciding factor on the defensive end, just a little bit more quickness. And so I think so we'll see how it plays out because we've all seen sometimes Gonzaga get off to great starts, come to the tournament, all of a sudden get exposed, some. So we'll see. But it was quite an opening performance, that's for sure.
Yeah.
They, last couple of years, they do open up. They'll play tough teams. They had Kentucky up here. They'll bring in and a good team, which is good. It's not like they're not like their football brethren where Baylor's like, hey, we're not going to go play a good team or any kind of top 10 team is not going out to play another top 10 team on the road. Although that was more of a neutral. It was on the road, but it wasn't at the actual Gonzaga campus site.
Right. It was in Spokane, just not there.
Yeah. You're still going to a team that's perennial top 10 and usually a sweet, at least bare minimum Sweet 16 type squad. But those are good early, man. I had Baylor. I had 2.5 because I thought everybody would jump on. Listen, I like Baylor for a future, but in that spot, this looked low and it got steamed up to 6. And
I gave it out as a free play with Gonzaga, and the only reason I did, Sean, is just because what Matt just talked about is that they had more guys back, and Baylor was reshuffling. So that's why I thought game 1.
And I'm like Matt said with the guys. Everybody comes out now. Hey, we're gonna go get drafted first, second round, whatever, or we're gonna transfer portal, get paid. These cats, you look at the returning. It used to be starters, right? I'd always like to look at that, especially mid-majors. It was always better to kind of bet on the secure team, right? The coach didn't leave, players weren't one and done. Now you can't do that. Now it's all about how many minutes. Now it's like, is it minutes returning? That's the new thing people like to use now, the minutes. Well, and it's tough, ever changing. It's tough. It's a tough racket, man. It's harder every year. You got to change with the flow, right? I mean, it's we'll be talking about. I mean, I know we'll go get to your game in a second here, Doug, because you're going to go a little different route than we usually go. But this is sometimes you have to go when the lines are what they are and the teams are what they are. But we're going to start with Matt here. NFL, Pittsburgh at Washington. The Commies, -3 here. The Commanders, a 45 total. I always short teams out, and I say it, and I'm like, well, I can't call them that, but it's just, you call them the boys. We're playing the Pats. You're playing the Jags, so you can't say that.
Well, at least it's not the hockey club.
Yeah, I'm just listen. Pittsburgh, they went out, got Josh Fields, Russell Wilson. The team is built on defense. They just win games. They continue to win games. Washington, how many times have they punted this year? 10, have they punted 20 times this year? Dan Quinn?
I think so.
What is? Listen, this is your game. I'm not going to come in here. Hats
No,
off
no,
to Washington. Go ahead. It's Pittsburgh getting a total of 45 here. Washington, great story so far. But what do you got on this one?
Yeah, I'll keep this one short and sweet. Like you just said, they are a great story, and coming off that Hail Mary win, and they they came back and then they beat the Giants next game, which was a good I don't want to say rebound, but a good comeback from that game, because that's there's a high emotional win. Back and they came back and they won it. But who have they beaten this year? Let's take a look at that. They beat the Giants twice. They've beaten Carolina. Who else have they beaten? They played their 30th ranked schedule. So 7th record is good, but how good really is it? Daniels, phenomenal rookie season, 71% passing, but they haven't played a defense like Pittsburgh yet. You say, oh, they played Baltimore. Well, Baltimore's defense isn't good this year. Yeah. And this will be by far their biggest test of the year. And it opened up at 2. It's up to 3 now. And I just like that number for sure with Pittsburgh. I was unsure about the Tomlin move going from Fields to Wilson after Justin Fields opened up 5-2. But man, Wilson, he's looked great. I think we touched on it a couple weeks ago. I think you had Pittsburgh against the Giants that Monday night game, and he came out slow in that game, but his second half, I said then, like, man, he looks like an all-pro player once again. And I just think the defense it will be the difference here. Pittsburgh's number 8 in DVOA. Washington, who still hasn't played anyone, still number 26 in DVOA. So. Yeah, I like Pittsburgh here. I think it's better coaching. Quinn, he's a good coach for sure. But, Tomlin just does it year to year. And they just find ways to get it done. And, I'm serious in this matchup.
Pittsburgh +3 for Matt Fargo. And again, it's Pittsburgh, always a defensive squad. Rookie quarterback. I see where you're going with the look there. And who have Washington played? The Giants, Cincinnati, who has a bad defense. Arizona, who's up at the Cleveland, had, you don't know Heckle and Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde team as well. Doug, your thoughts on Pitt and Washington here?
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Matt on this one. And, I, too, am a Dan Quinn fan, what he's done. I'm not sure that I like him maybe long-term as a coach, but I think he's done obviously a very good job so far. But a couple things that stand out to me, mentioned rookie quarterbacks. Now, last year's Pittsburgh team lost twice to rookie quarterbacks, but that's certainly not the norm. Okay, for Tomlin, all time he is 24-5 straight up against rookie quarterbacks. Pittsburgh is also coming off a bye here. They are 15-5 straight up off a bye, which includes 7 wins in a row. Okay, in this one. And the other thing that I like going into this one, Steelers as road underdogs of 7 or less the last 3 years, 8-3 against the spread. I'm with Matt, man. Give me Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh +3 here for the video. Again, this is Matt's free pick, folks. You want the premium stuff, gamblersworld.net. We got you covered here. Or Matt's got you covered. We all do, but we're talking Matt Fargo. Check him out. College football, NFL, college hoops, NBA. And if he does any hockey, I don't know if he dabbles on the ice. He may.
Yeah, I don't.
I don't know. Next game up, we're heading to the AFC South. The Atlanta Falcons -3, total of 47 versus the New Orleans Saints. I think the Saints fired their head coach. What are we doing here? The Saints giving up on the season. They even hit, well, it's November now, but they fired him in October. What are we doing here in New Orleans?
Well, who thought Dennis Allen was a good coach to begin with? Okay, as a head coach, I should qualify that.
He's a defensive guy.
Coach, but as a head coach, this is no surprise. Especially, he lasted 1 year as the Raiders head coach, if I'm not mistaken. When he was hired, he was 33 or 32, something like that. But off to a great start. But the team, they just got sick of watching this team lead the ownership of New Orleans, and especially then losing to Carolina. Wow. Okay, that wasn't good at all. New Orleans comes this one. They got a bunch of guys. Not only did they lose, and they've lost 7 in a row, changing coaches, everything else. They got a number of players that are up in the air to play this weekend because of injuries. The public, this was interesting. Now, I know headlines are different than what you get, once the games are played, but it went from a pick to up to -3.5 with Atlanta, which I guess, and it, hasn't moved much. So usually one of the things that you kind of look for is to see if you think you can get a bump from a new coach. That, at least by public opinion, that does not seem to be the case here. The thing is, I look at Atlanta. To me, he has the superior quarterback in this game, and also we've got both teams have some receiver issues. Honestly, I don't really like the side or the total, so here's what I'm going to go instead. I'm going to go with the teaser on this one. And
there we go.
You gave me a line of you said 3.5, right?
3.5.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to take a 6-point teaser, Atlanta to 2.5. So I'm going to cross the key number of 3 with Atlanta. And if it ends up being, what would be a really close game, I got a little cushion at least to work with there on that. And then with the total at 47, I'm going to go over 41 because I got these two teams here that are both giving up 24 points per game on the season. And also like the fact that Atlanta as road favorites, or I should say road favorites like Atlanta, are 37-6 on the money line after covering the spread in 4 of their last 5 games as a winning team versus a team with a losing record in the second half of the season. I know that's a lot of stuff there, but bottom line, teaser, Atlanta plus 2.5, over 41.
Doug's official play, the over 41, Atlanta plus 2.5. Teaser. So we're doing this on a Tuesday, a teaser Tuesday play here from Doug Upstone in Saints, Atlanta. I actually took the Atlanta at a pick 'em, maybe -1 when it came out, because I was kind of high in Atlanta. I thought they're kind of playing better. Cousins getting the kind of feel of his receivers, and it's just the Saints. He scored 91 in the first 2 games. You're giving up 50 to Tampa Bay, 30. I mean, you're a defensive guy. The team's falling apart. And as you said, the key there is no buyback on 3-3. You think at that point people would be buying, trying to say, hey, new coach, new attitude, let's do something right. It would come down from 3 to 2.5. No. It went up to 3.5. So I'm with you there. Matt, thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. Typically, when you get a new coach coming in, sometimes you can spark your team, whatever. This team, I think, is a shot. Derek Carr, he's not liked in the locker room. His receivers are gone. Olave's out.
Yep.
Ed, whatever. And, and people respect Cousins. His teammates respect him. He got off to a somewhat slow start, just like you said, getting used to his players, whatever. He's a gamer. He's a gamer, man. And, the line moved for a reason. And I think the Falcons are in a great spot. And, yeah, if you want to tease it down to get that 2.5, I think that's definitely the way to go.
And also I think people forget the guy was coming off an injury at 37, a foot injury. It's going to take him a bit to kind of get the ball rolling there.
Well, did you guys watch that opening game that they played? I mean, he was like a statue. I mean, he literally couldn't move. Okay, in that game, it was crazy.
And let's not even compare the Pittsburgh defense against the Saints defense. I mean, Saints got a decent defense. They're not Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's had a defense for the last 30 years. When's the last time Pittsburgh hasn't had a defense?
The Saints gave Bryce Young his first ever game-winning drive. That says something right there.
And they're old. Besides the team, I think it's the oldest roster in the NFL, if I'm not mistaken, on that too. Now, Sean, before you go to start your game, I have a question for you.
Sure.
Did you lose a bet that you got this game, or did you have something with the owner, and so that it's like, and I just there, or
and this is like the early game too. This is like the early, we're in Germany for this one, early one. I figured who wants to do. It's one thing. I know a lot of guys. I try not to do the Sunday, Monday night games or any kind of premier kind of games, just because I think as we sell, we're guys who sell picks. People don't want to give away the best. And even though this is a early game, I was like, I got to put a free pick out on it here. Someone's going to want, because some wacko is going to wake up and say, I got to bet this game because it's early in the NFL. There's no reason to, but I'm going to try to give them a reason to bet it. Sometimes we have to swallow the pride here and go for bad games. And this is a bad one because the Giants are a reeling squad, and Carolina, okay, they finally pulled off a win. I guess that's good, but we're just talking about the Saints and how their season has been going. Let's look at this one. So The Giants are a 6.5-point favorite here. Total of 40.5. As I mentioned, the game is in Germany. It is a 9:30 a.m. Eastern start. So set the alarms. Head to the diners out there in Jersey. Go get a nice. I call it, Taylor ham and cheese. I know people. It's on pork roll. It's Taylor ham. That's the better brand. Get the Taylor ham. I'm not an egg guy. I want just double meat, cheese, and that's it. I'll take 2 on a roll. I don't want hash browns with it. I don't need salt, pepper, ketchup. Meat and cheese. Thank you very much. You're not getting meat and cheese here. You're getting some sloppy, with some crappy German food. I don't even know. Like, this is just like sour. You know what we're having? We're having like sauerkraut juice for breakfast today.
Sauerkraut juice, exactly.
It's juice. I can eat the sauerkraut. I'll throw that on my hot dogs. That's fine. This is just the juice in a glass that somebody's making you drink watching these teams play. I'm sorry, Europe. We give you the crappy Jaguars. Now you're getting Giants of Carolina. 2-6-1 for the Giants against the spread. 2-7 for Carolina. It's like the immovable force and the irresistible object. How does that go, Doug? I mean, like
it'd be the not irresistible, the opposite, the resistible
force, immovable object.
Yeah.
I mean, how are the Giants 6.5? I want to take Carolina, believe it or not. I want to say, let's go Carolina. Maybe sprinkle a little money line because they have nothing to play for. These are guys just playing for jobs in Carolina. Where the Giants, they somehow think it's like, hey, we like the coach. I think the coach is a good coach. Nobody loves Daniel Jones. They got a good receiver. They have no running back. Tracy, if he's healthy, he's had flashes. I'm going to go over the total in this one. Because even though we got a big stinker of what appears to be bad teams, it doesn't appear they are. I mean, the records, as Dennis Allen says, what our record says we are. 7-3 TO for Carolina. And that's a combination of them somehow managing to score like 10 points a game and the defense giving up 30. Right? Bad defense. They scrape together points, and these totals are low. This is actually a high one for them at 40.5. I mean, sometimes they're at like 37. Now, they went over last week against the Saints. I think the Giants defense is okay. I think the Giants offense is just okay. But when I get like okay nonsense in the ocean coming together, I think we get a little tidal wave of offense. And a tidal wave of offense for these teams, 24-20. I think we get 24-20. I think this game's going to go in the 20s, and I really think Carolina might pull out an upset here, believe it or not. I can't – boy, I'd love to come here and say take Carolina money line because everybody remember that. This guy, the Panthers money line, he's a genius. I don't want to be yes, I'd like to be called a genius. I'm going to play safe and try to make everybody money on a whole here and just go over the 40.5. I think that's the way to go. Matt, thoughts on my over and my sauerkraut juice? Think that's a pretty good thought there or what?
It's like the juice that's left in the can when you take the sauerkraut out. It's horrible. This is a horrible game. Like, this is awful. But as far as the side, I'm not touching this game. There's no way I'm touching this game. The Giants shouldn't be favored by 6.5 points over anyone, any high school team, whatever. But I see your lane where Carolina's 5-2. I'm looking right at 5-2 to the over, and they scored 14 points or less in 5 of their games, and they're still going over. It shows how bad that defense is. They could make Daniel Jones look like an all-pro quarterback this week. He's shown flashes, but he's made stupid mistakes against some, pretty good defenses. And obviously this is not one of them. So, yeah, if I had to touch this game, if I have to watch this game, yeah, over it is.
Over. Excellent. Doug, thoughts?
Yeah, just the thing about this too. The look ahead line was 3.5. Okay, with the Giants, so that's 3 points. Okay, that it's moved. And I looked at some the money and the betting totals, and it's only 55% basically both ways. So seemingly it's sharp money that is moving this. I use the word seemingly because I'm not sure why they would like this anyways. Now, in the Giants' favor, if you look at it, they're pretty much better in all facets of the game, between the two teams, and they also commit fewer turnovers. But I'm in agreement with you guys. I mean, there's no way in the world I'd even consider laying, that kind of points for the Giants. So I'm going to go a different direction. I'm going to look at Chuba Hubbard with his brand new stinking contract he just signed. Okay. Take him for an anytime touchdown at plus 110. He scored a touchdown in 6 of his last 7 games. So I'm going to go with Chuba to bring home the Mutta.
I got Chuba, and I don't do fantasy football a lot, but my buddies in Jersey, they run one. So I've known these guys for since like 93, 94, so a long time. So they needed a guy 2 years ago. So I said, I'll join it, whatever. I got Chubb on my team. Ron Mexico, we're in first place. It's my team names. If you know who Ron Mexico is, comment section up. You're Ron Mexico if you know who that is, or any other kind of names, aliases. I lied, not Ron Mexico. I'll give that one away there for people. But yeah, Chubb has had a nice little season. Over the 40.5, though, official video pick for me. Pitts +3 for Matt. Doug's rolling in the teaser. Atlanta +2.5 over 41. Again, these are free picks here on the Winner Circle YouTube channel. Our premium picks can be had at gamblersworld.net. Go get them. Go get them. NFL, college football, NBA, college hoops, hockey. What else is there playing? We got you covered, folks. All at gamblersworld.net. 3/738 packages guaranteed.
You bring up Canadian football.
Oh, yeah. I knew there was something else.
I know Matt does Canadian football. So
I do. Yep. Semifinals this weekend. Yep.
Come on.
Canadian football. I forget Canadian.
Toronto, Montreal, Saskatchewan, Hamilton, or Saskatchewan, Winnipeg. Two great games.
Conference finals this weekend, Sean. Come on, let's get the program here.
I can't get into a game where all of a sudden you kick a free kick, it goes left or out, or just lands in the end zone. You get 2 points. I see the scores come across my thing. I'm like, how many safeties do they have in this game? Is this like a defensive battle? Like, I don't know what's happening.
It's fair. Like that, you can score a single. I honestly, I don't know what that is. I don't know what that means. I think if you miss a field goal or you kick it somewhere, you get a single.
You get it.
Weird. They're weird, but they're good angles to bet on, and I'm having a good season on this. So,
and listen, I don't have to watch a sport to bet on it. I totally get that, but if I have to have some kind of inkling of what's going on in it to bet it, though.
I don't bet hockey because I don't know the rules. I really don't. I don't know what offsides is. Still don't.
I'm glad you mentioned fantasy football because Sean, well, of course, I know Matt wouldn't know this for sure, but Sean, I'm sure you don't, and not many people do. I was on the ground floor actually for fantasy football. I started my own league in 1978. Okay, fantasy football. I read about it, and remember the old Sports Illustrated things about they had the pages with a little like notations where it's like one paragraph, and they talked about something, and I read that and I thought, well, that's cool. And I had just started working at a golf store where I lived at the time. And so 4 of us started, and I have run a league ever since. So
1978, I was 4 years old. If I was flipping through a magazine, they probably sold like seahorses on the back. Remember you buy the little seahorses for like 30 cents? You put them in a cup.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
Doug, I don't know how to make jokes, but the simple fact of the matter is, people today, they don't even know what the hell a magazine is. They probably have never seen a magazine.
Right.
These kids watching today's everything on the phone. They don't even know what a magazine is. They don't even know what a newspaper is.
But no, so that's people have often told me I should try and report that to somebody, to make a big deal. Because I mean, it's been that many years. I mean,
did you save all your books on it? That'd be pretty cool if you had like the notebooks from like 1981.
What's that?
It'd be cool if you had like a notebook from like 1981 where you had your like rerecords and stuff.
Oh, I got lots of stuff back from even before that.
Oh my goodness!
I just I've trimmed a lot of it off as we moved different places, but the things that I wanted to keep that were to me important, I kept all that stuff. So I have.
When we did our big move from Jersey to Texas, it was like I got rid of all because I had all my stuff like notebooks going back to like early 2000s, and I had stuff from in the mid 90s, like old sports forums and stuff I went through, and I had like little things written outside and bar napkins that I had bets on like this. And I'm like, you know what? It's fun to have. Like I was like, I'm not paying where I get paid by the pound. I'm not shipping a bunch of paper with me, so forget it. It went right out into the trash. But I miss it though. I'm saying I got rid of some of that stuff.
Well, my biggest when we moved from the Midwest to the Phoenix area here, I had 350 albums. Okay,
you shouldn't have got rid of one of them.
I got rid of all of them because same thing is that it's like, what am I going to do with these things? The world that was changing at the time. I thought, and how am I ever going to record them? Of course, I couldn't see into the future that you could do that. Okay, later. So yeah, so that's my only regret. Okay,
my dad got rid of all his records and changed everything to CDs, like obviously in the late 80s, early 90s. And now my son, he goes to him and my daughter, they'll go to like the little swap meets, flea markets, and buy like records from like the 80s and like know, Steely Dan from like the actual records, and they're paying like $30 a record. I'm like, we had all these, and they just went out. Like my dad gave them to a DJ at the restaurant. I'm like, oh, here you go, take all these old records.
Yep.
And now I'm like, man.
Oh, vinyl's coming back. Vinyl's a big thing now. It's a huge thing. If you could find, a lot of these bands are coming out with their, old records in some sort of new format, whatever. And vinyl's huge now.
Yeah,
everything's old school. Like I'm old school. I still do pen and paper. I'm fine with that.
Yeah. We need what? We need different notebooks. 1, 2, 3.
Right. I have it all. I have everything. Yeah.
So the nostalgia moment has coming on here for the last 10 minutes of the show. That's you're always gonna get that no matter what show I'm doing. Where we're gonna go into old stuff, and that's just the way it is. Sorry, young folks. That's old. You whippersnappers. You'll be there one day, and you'll be like, man, those guys are right. You have to remember youth. That's the way we stay young, flashing back. It's good we still have our memories. All right.
Spotify. I'm into Spotify and all that, but if you look over here, I have like 2,000 CDs still. And I will never throw them away.
Don't get rid of them.
Nostalgia.
You know what you're not going to get rid of either? Our 3 winners for today. The Steelers +3, the Giants over 40.5, and Atlanta plus 2.5 over 41. Teaser, 2-team teaser, Falcons versus the Saints. For Doug Upstone, Matt Fargo, and myself, have a great weekend of action, folks, here. See you on Monday. Live show. You don't want to miss out on for Monday Night Live. Good luck, everybody. Bye-bye.